So if I solve it, do I get a prize?
I do.
Hi there, and welcome to Richard Barron Horror. If you enjoy all things Hellraiser and more, why don't you go ahead and give us a like and subscribe to our channel if you dare.
It opens doors.
What kind of doors?
Doors to the pleasures of heaven or hell. I didn't care which.
Mind is a labyrinth, ladies and gentlemen. So, while the paths of the brain are plainly visible, its ways deceptively apparent, its destinations are unknown. It is the lure of the labyrinth that draws us to our chosen field to unlock those secrets.
Welcome to our episode on how to survive the Cenobites from Hulu's Hellraiser. Chapter 1. Don't touch the fancy weird thing. Let's start with the single most important rule you should have followed 5 minutes into this whole nightmare. Don't touch the cursed, shiny, stabby cube. Sounds obvious, right? But movies like Hellraiser exist to punish obviousness. The box in question is basically a blinged out do not open ornament that screams trouble, and yet people caress, fumble with, and generally treat it like an off-brand stress toy. If you ever find yourself in a dark mansion, abandoned storage unit, or hospice waiting room and the place has one of these weird puzzle cubes sitting around, walk away, leave it, toss it in a dumpster, drop it down a storm drain, throw it into a raging bonfire, or call the authorities and hope rational people handle it. The cube's whole deal is to reconfigure reality and harvest humans. You do not want to be part of its subscription plan. But since you asked for a guide on how to beat Hellraiser, I'll assume hypothetical terrible luck has already thrust this death device into your hands. Fine, if you've already made contact or some idiot friend shoved the thing into your pockets. There are steps and strategies you can use to minimize losses, survive, or at least not make the situation exponentially worse. Chapter 2. Immediate first aid and basic safety. If the box hurts you, and it will, often via a tiny blade that sneaks out at the worst time, treat the wound like it's an emergency. Do not be the person who sits down to exchange conspiracy theories while a pal bleeds out. This is the real world part. Apply direct pressure, elevate the limb, wrap it tightly with clean fabric, and if it's an arterial bleed, consider a tourniquet only if you know how to use one. Call emergency services. Do not try to drive a severely injured person around the grounds of a creepy billionaire mansion while you argue about who touched the box last. Use your phone now. Stop second guessing whether an ambulance will judge you for being irresponsible. They exist to help. Also, don't pull knives or embedded objects out of people. In the film, lots of people get stabbed with the cube's little blade and someone inevitably attempts to act like a movie medic and yanks it out. Don't. Stabilize the object with padding and get professional help. It's basic, and it will keep someone alive long enough to make smarter decisions. Chapter 3. Don't go alone into strange places. Bring backup people who are sane. If the story starts with a party or a hospice or some shipping container and one person gets curious about a locked hall or a mansion, stop them. You need witnesses. You need people who can apply pressure without panicking and who aren't high on a cocktail of poor choices. The movie's early scenes are an experiment in what if every character made the dumbest, loneliest option available? And the answer is friends dying. Bring a friend who will call the cops, not one who will record it for clout. If someone says, go check the hallway in 10 minutes, don't walk in alone. A solid rule. If someone says, I'll meet you here in 10, don't go solo. Bring someone who can read the room and bail at the first sign of cult vibes. If you're stuck with a friend who is determined to be the brave solo interrogator of demonic collectibles, at least station yourself where you can see the exit and have a plan for extraction. No one should be the one to touch artifacts alone, unsupervised, and without a flashlight. Also, don't let strangers direct you to private collections. If you're at some pleasure palace and a stranger says an eccentric billionaire wants to meet you in a private wing, red flags should pop out like a cartoon. That's not an invitation, that's a setup. Chapter 4. If you're stuffed, don't be idiots about it. Riley and her crew, let's be honest, the film's heist subplot, decide to nick a safe out of an abandoned storage container. Fine, villains and anti-heroes exist, but if you're going to deal things, don't be loud about it, don't park conspicuously, don't break into shipping containers in a way that creates echoing racket. Do at least one of the following: research the property, make sure your access codes aren't traceable to a single person, and for the love of decency, don't bring the priceless thing back to a shabby apartment while you're plastered. Storing a bleeding puzzle box on your coffee table and scrolling through heart emojis is how stupid decisions metastasize into existential horror. If you absolutely must mess with stolen artifacts, get it to a safe, secure, well-lit place, and don't let random strangers handle it, or yet, surrender it. Chapter 5. When in doubt, let the professionals take it. This is a weird one in the film. People treat the cube like an antique curiosity or an extreme novelty. If the box appears, you should call in experts, not influencers, and certainly not your boyfriend who occasionally fixes refrigerators. Reach out to museum curators, paranormal investigators who have actual credentials or authorities. Don't bring it into your party house. Don't pass it around like sushi. The moment something in your life actively changes metal, flesh, or gravity, stop pretending you can DIY it. Professionals have experience, protocols, and a lot less emotional investment. Chapter 6. Identify the rules. Quickly, horror monsters are manageable if you learn their rules. The Hellraiser cube has rules. It needs configurations to be completed.
You're sure this is what you want?
It's what I've always wanted. I have to see. I have to know.
Every completed configuration claims human lives.
2 more, and he is yours. Feed it. Their pain, their blood. Unlock the next configuration.
Once you reach configuration 6, it gives an audience with the Leviathan and a prize. It coordinates with the Cenobites, those chain-hooked creatures, to harvest bodies and swap them out. When you first see the cube rotate or change on its own, that's a red flag that time is compressed and the danger is immediate. If you can glean the number of required sacrifices, in the movie it's 6 configurations, you can try to block the engine, stop feeding it kills. That's the #1 path to victory.
And then the last.
No. I've done enough.
Enough is a myth.
Machine hungry for souls, it can't eat what you hide. Keep the count down to 0. If someone's already been taken, prioritize stopping further offerings rather than trying to resurrect the dead until you understand the true cost. Resurrection in Hellraiser is rarely, ever free. Chapter 7. Don't let the antagonist manage the gate. In the film, Voight built his mansion like a maze and controlled doors and gates like their pleasure home light switches. If you're inside a property and someone else appears to be able to remotely lock you in, that's a game over mechanic you must disrupt. Don't let the villain manage your exits. If you're inside a compound where some rich jerk can lock the front gate and summon demons at will, seize control of the infrastructure. If you have to break into the security room, do it. If you can't get to the panel, find an alternate escape route. Windows, service tunnels, or even a car. Don't let the villain control the gates is a real-world lesson. If someone has the ability to stop you leaving, dismantle that ability quickly. Also, don't trust people with unpredictable loyalties. Trevor being on the payroll is exposition that hits way too late. Vet your crew. Chapter 8. Use the cube strategically. This is where the guide gets morally gray. If you're absolutely convinced the cube's rules can be gamed, use them. In the film, there are 6 configurations and each requires a person to complete. If you must use the cube, do so with the coldest calculus. Target the truly irredeemable, the villains who have already proven they'd betray you. The movie shows that you can choose who takes the hit. The Cenobites aren't impartial. They'll accept willing or forced substitutions. If you're cornered and the only way to stay alive is to hand someone else to the box, make it the person who intentionally hurt your group, the backstabber, the hired shill. That's not heroic, but it's pragmatic. However, be careful. The Cenobites are not vending machines. Their contracts are often perverse. The prize at the end is designed to look like a gift and to twist your desire into something miserable.
No! It is not hands that call us.
It is desire.
Desire.
Want resurrection? Accept it, and the returned person may be hollow or monstrous. Want sensation? You might be permanently warped. If you play chess with the box, make sure you know what win looks like for you. Sometimes the correct move is to refuse all prizes and destroy the object. Other times it's to make a bargain that gets you out, then run far, far away. Chapter 9. Use decoys, not sacrifice for fun. One tactical method that works several times in the movie is bait and switch. Lure the Cenobites into a trap or into a chamber where you can isolate one and use the cube to dispatch them. Don't get cute. This requires you to be calm and coordinated. The heroes succeed when they trick the Cenobites, steal their device back, and flip switches at the right time. If you can corrupt their expectations, make them think someone else will be offered, you can create an opening. For instance, having someone act is only to swap out at the last second or get the Cenobites to take the villain instead is a valid play. Chapter 10. Don't reveal your plan aloud. One motif in the film, people loudly discuss how they plan to stab each other and who they'll sacrifice for which prize. This is literally the worst time to hold a group strategy session. Cenobites use sound and attention to lock onto people. Crowds that shout their plans allow the enemy to read them. If you're going to pivot to ruthless pragmatism, do it quietly and with a minimal circle. The fewer people who know, the less chance of leaks, betrayal, or someone trying to be a brave martyr at the wrong time. Chapter 11. If you steal the cube back, don't put it on a pedestal. A recurring mistake is the temptation to put the cube back on display like it's a trophy. If you manage to steal the box from Voight or the Cenobites, don't set it on a pedestal and admire your survival. The moment it sits idle and unattended, someone else will handle it and trigger another round, transport it, lock it, or destroy it. The protagonists fail by allowing the cube to return to easy reach. Smarter choices: put it in an industrial safe, throw it into a smelting furnace, or bury it deep under concrete. But be aware, Hellraiser mythos suggests the device often returns. If you want an ultimate solution, it might require resealing it in a location where even the curious can't reach it. Chapter 12. Manage your injuries like adults. We already covered immediate first aid, but the movie also highlights a stubborn refusal to handle medical reality. Don't do that. If somebody's heavily wounded, immobilize them, keep them warm, stop the bleeding, and call for medical extraction. If you're trapped in a mansion with no quick access to EMTs, prioritize preventative measures, splint fractures, use pressure dressings, and rotate pain control. Do not let someone who is sedated guard critical assets. People nodding off means opportunity lost. If you must defend the box and guard a wounded friend, rotate duties and limit anyone from taking sedatives while on watch. Chapter 13. When hooked, delay the swap, buy time. If the Cenobites are gunning for you and someone is close to being taken, it's worth buying time. In the film, hooks and chains descend and drag victims away. Delay tactics are valuable. Lock doors, wedge items under gates, jam mechanisms, and create barriers. Distract the Cenobites with noise elsewhere. Set off car alarms, honk horns, or flip breakers to cause chaos. The more time you have, the more likely the villain will make a mistake or your group will find an exit or a tool to fight back. If the enemy is ritualistic and bound by rules, chaos interrupts their timing. Chapter 14. Think ahead about the prize. If you reach the final configuration and the prize is on the table, ask yourself, is this actually what you want? The movie tempts Riley with resurrection, sensation, power, and similar boons. All come at a price. The only sane answer is to refuse. A selfish, mortal world's life or love is worth more than an eldritch recreation. If the Cenobites are offering resurrection, analyze what it would mean. Acceptance might chain you to a debt that will never end. The wiser path is to escape and bury the box. If you're a vengeful type, allow the monster to take the monster, but don't let the box tempt you into becoming what you hate. Chapter 15. Use the house against the host. Kill the puppet strings. Voight's house is a machine. He thinks having a labyrinth and switchboard gives him control. Guess what? Get into his machinery. Force his hand. If you can flip the security switches, open the gates, or use his infrastructure to trap him, do it. He needs line-of-sight booths, climate control, lighting, or helpers to maintain power and order. If you disrupt the environment he relies on, you disrupt the man. The movie's turning point occurs when Riley flips a switch to free the trapped Cenobite, then turns the system against Voight. Tactical control over the environment is often the difference between being a victim and being a player. Chapter 16. Prioritize people you can save. Heroes in these settings waste time on personal vendettas. Instead, triage. The film had multiple moments where saving someone early would have prevented further disaster. The key is quick, competent action. Bind wounds, apply pressure, move to a safe zone, and call for help. People with shallow wounds are salvageable. People with vanished bodies are lost. Stop chasing ghosts until you stabilize the living. Chapter 17. Don't let the rich obsessing with sensation win. Voight made a deal to feel everything and regretted it. Don't envy him. The drive for sensation, power, or control is why people keep feeding the box. The moral here is basic. Empathy and sanity beat indulgence. If you reach a position where you can claim a prize, default to none of the above. If that's not allowed, choose the option that reduces future victimization, probably something that guarantees separation from the box. If forced into trade, hit them where it hurts. Trade what can be traded without causing more harm to innocents. Avoid futile resurrections and reevaluate. Chapter 18. If you win, don't be heroic, be practical. Let's say you survive and the Cenobites vanish with the cube returned to its initial form. Congratulations. Now you have the cube in your possession, or at least it's back in circulation in an empty, dangerous world. Do not put it on the floor like a decorative object that will tempt the next clueless visitor. This is the real test. Destroy it if you can. If you can't, lock it in a government facility or donate it to a museum with tight security and disclaimers. If you're intent on selfless heroism, find a way to keep it out of circulation forever. The film's final beat, leaving it where someone might find it again, is exactly the wrong choice. If you truly beat the Cenobites, you remove the temptation from the human trade system forever. Chapter 19. Don't trust anyone who asked you to meet alone. This is worth repeating because real-world predators use this move. If someone invites you to a private meeting in a mansion and says, "I want this person alone," decline. Bring a group, ideally people who will intervene. Also, when someone in the film tells a young person they'll love a reunion with a billionaire, that's bait. This pattern repeats across horror movies because it's effective. Don't be an archetype. Be the person who asks for witnesses. Chapter 20. If things go bad, break the contract. Destroy the box. If you can access the box safely, your best endgame is to destroy it. That may be literal. Flames, acid, or industrial shredding. It might be symbolic. Bury it in a tomb of lead and concrete. If Hellraiser lore insists objects return, the only true success is preventing immediate reuse. Full incineration, slagging the remains, or tossing it into an environment that makes it inaccessible for centuries. Permanent prevention is the real victory. If you can't destroy it, hide it somewhere the next generation won't stumble upon. Chapter 21. Learn from your mistakes. No more curiosity without caution. Most horror sequences are a lesson in human curiosity without caution. If Hellraiser teaches anything, it's this. Curiosity is fine. Be skeptical of shiny things, especially when they make your serotonin spike and your common sense drop. Don't be the person to test it. Chapter 22. Psychological Toolkit. Staying calm under ritual pressure. These creatures and objects feed on escalating panic and selfishness. Maintain a linear brain. Breathe, triage, hold line of sight on exits, and don't scatter. The film's characters scatter emotionally and physically, and that's when bad things happen. Be a baseline of competence. If you can stay alive and keep others alive by being boringly practical, you win. Heroism comes from doing the tedious things well, bandaging, calling for help, and watching the door. Chapter 23. What beating Hellraiser really means. If you get out alive and you leave the object in the mansion, you haven't beaten Hellraiser. You've postponed it. The only true win is eradication or containment of the device and severing the chain of people who want to feed it. The film's victory is incomplete. The cube ends up where the next poor sod will find it. To beat Hellraiser, you must refuse the temptation entirely or annihilate it. That requires sacrifice, planning, and a stubborn commitment to not letting spectacle win. If you survive, take the moral high ground. Don't hand it to collectors. Don't band together for trophies. Don't let your curiosity override your responsibility. Final summary: be smart, not brave. Hellraiser is a lesson in human error. Curiosity, greed, and poor medical decisions lead to catastrophic outcomes, and the best way to beat it is to stop playing its game, walk away, bring backup, treat injuries properly. Don't trust rich patrons with private wings. If you manage to get it away from the Cenobites, destroy it or secure it so no one else has to learn these lessons the hard way. If I had to sum it up in one blunt line, keep your hands off the thing, tend your people like a competent adult, and if luck forces you into bargaining, be cold, quick, and pragmatic. And that's how you beat Hellraiser. As we come to the end of this video, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy character deep dives. And I'm Richard, and this is my voice. Thanks for watching.
Destination nowhere, a half a mile, no paradise. Tell me what you find there, beyond the sea, a gold disguise, 3 dimensions.